Now, I'm gonna say this once. I swear to fucking God, if the Browns do not get this fucking pick right, I am going to lose my shit this season. Because you guys got the number one pick. No one's ahead of you. You got all the options there. If they fuck up this year, if they fuck up this pick, I am going to be pissed. Because I am getting tired of this franchise losing year after 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 year. Every fucking year, there's always a fucking excuse of why this team is not doing better. Why we can't find a solid quarterback. We got Cody Kessler. How about you develop him? Get Myles Garrett. He can be a defensive anchor. Build a fucking team around. You don't need a quarterback right now. If you want to get a quarterback, get one later in the draft and see if you can develop them. But do not get Mitch Trubisky. I don't know what his name is. But don't get him. Get Myles Garrett. He'll be a good defensive player for us. Stop messing around, Cleveland. I'm getting tired of this team losing year after year after year after year. And it's already bad enough that you guys could let go of Terrell Pryor. And I'm still fucking mad about that. Josh Gordon, I don't know what's going on with him. We're just, I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. I'm getting tired of this team. And what makes it even worse is that I live in Maryland. And I don't live too far from Baltimore. And Baltimore has the Ravens. So technically, we shouldn't even be dealing with this because if Baltimore haven't took our team. But I don't. Let's just check out the video.
All the qualities you could ever want to lead your football team. Watson, quarterback keeper at the 5, 2-1, touchdown Clemson. Does he have the size? Yes. Does he have the arm? Yes. It is caught. Touchdown Carolina. Does he have the mobility? Yes, he does. Trubisky to throw. Touchdown. I think it's going to make a lot of teams nervous that he had just those
Please don't. You can't. He's not going to be.
Play of the college season. Watson throws for a touchdown. Would not surprise me one bit if Deshaun Watson is the Super Bowl winning quarterback one day.
So, if you were waiting for a mock draft that didn't include a quarterback in the first round, guess what? You are in luck. Todd McShay's latest mock draft released this morning where he drafts as if he's the GM of each team.
Damn.
And a quarterback was not taken off the board in the first round, but the first and second pick of the second round. On that note, to get into all of this, we welcome Todd McShay. How we doing?
Doing well. Well,
you've had a busy morning already.
Yeah, he
certainly did. You guys had a little QT. So, yeah, just in this morning, as you're alluding to, Adam Schefter saying the Browns are not set, according to a league source telling him, on taking Myles Garrett with the first pick. They're also interested in, is it Mitch or Mitchell Trubisky at this point?
You're allowed to say either.
All right, we'll go either. What's your reaction to that?
My reaction is they're doing their due diligence, and it's the most important position probably in sports, certainly in the NFL.
But yeah, it is the most important position in sports. But have you seen the Browns in the since 1999? Have you seen what happened? Tim Couch. I don't know all the Browns quarterbacks, but I'm going to try to get it. Tim Couch, Jeff Garcia, Brian Gronkowski, Jake Delhomme, Johnny Manziel. I'm trying to think. I don't know the whole list. RG3, Jason Campbell. Gosh. I think Trent Dilfer, I'm not sure, but let's just continue on.
There are some people within the organization that look at Trubisky and say, hey, we can develop him and make him a good starter. And I've said 100 times, his tape...
You do that every time. Every year you say, okay, we're going to get a quarterback, we're going to develop him in the system, and then you fire the coach, and then they're going to have to learn a new system, and a new system, and a new system, and then you get rid of him, and we just start the process all over again.
And you're comparing him to Myles Garrett, who, in my opinion, is an elite pass rusher, which is the second most important position, again, in my opinion.
Yes, get Myles Garrett, please.
So it would surprise me if they wind up going Trubisky or any of the quarterbacks at 1. I would
I personally would wind up taking Myles Garrett at
Yes.
1, and then maybe if you like Trubisky that much, package some of those picks. They've got 2 second-round picks. They've got 2 first-round picks. They've got additional ammunition to go move up ahead of New York, number 5, if Trubisky was still to be there at that 5th.
I have a question because I know why. You answered it just now. Why teams talk themselves into quarterbacks every year, even when there's not a first-round quarterback really in the draft? Because it's the most important position. Can you explain how they talk themselves into it? How do they talk themselves into inventing Jared Goff is worthy of mortgaging your future?
You know, with almost without fail. I mean, look at every single Super Bowl team in the last decade. Almost without fail, they have a very good to elite quarterback as their starting quarterback. So you know, as an organization, we've got to find a guy and develop him. And you know, as a coaching staff, if I don't find that guy, I'm not going to last. You know, Hugh Jackson's sitting there, and he actually wants to take Myles Garrett, according to Adam Schefter. But Hugh Jackson's sitting there saying, if we don't get a quarterback in here soon, I'm going to be in year 3 with a rookie quarterback and trying to develop him. So that's kind of the struggle. But if you don't have a better grade, a significantly better grade, on Mitch Trubisky than you had on Carson Wentz a year ago, this makes no sense to me. That's kind of what it boils down to for me.
You should have gotten Carson Wentz. Wentz last year.
Myles Garrett was universally recognized as the consensus #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. I want to know what happened in the last few days to sort of compromise that solidified position per se. And if his recent actions in terms of not being able to take negativity, at least that's how it came across in the eyes of some, if that in any way had something to do with the fact that there's now questions as to whether or not he will end up being taken #1 overall.
I still think he is the #1 overall player in this draft. And I don't, not showing up to talk to Booger McFarland after he said some negative things to you. If it was a quarterback, it would resonate a little bit more with me. The only thing I can think of when I look at this picture is that Greg Williams, I don't know if there's a tougher defensive coordinator, a guy who uses more foul language and is in your face more.
Yeah, we got Greg Williams too. He's a good defensive coordinator.
And if they in their evaluation during their scouting process came up with the conclusion that Myles Garrett can't handle tough coaching, then that could be something that would concern them. That they're all of a sudden they've got a defensive coordinator who excels at aggressive style and getting in players' faces and really getting the most out of them that way. If they don't think that that's going to work, then that makes a little bit of sense. But I don't think it's changed league-wide. I still think Myles Garrett is the clear-cut best football player and athlete in this draft.
To the specific criticism of him, why hasn't the production matched, according to the criticism, matched the talent?
The production's still really good. Now, the only thing that you look at is against a bad team, Middle Tennessee or whoever it was, he had 4.5 sacks this past year, which was almost as much as what he had against every other team. But when you watch on tape, I mean, he constantly doubled, constantly tripled. It was like Joey Bosa a year ago. Everyone was saying to me, well, Joey Bosa didn't run a fast 40, and he doesn't have great sack production. Well, if you study the tape, this guy's blowing up plays. He's taking out 2 or 3 defenders, and he's freeing up everybody else around him to go make the play and be successful. So I don't think he plays with quite the same tenacity and nastiness that Bosa played with. But I think he's a better athlete, and I know he's faster and more explosive.
He's also impressive in person, by the way. Just as a person.
He was. He seemed very authentic, comfortable in his skin. I want to switch gears here, though, to the Cowboys. So Jerry Jones, we all heard, wanted a war daddy. And
so we better get this together, Cleveland, please. Please. I am begging you, Cleveland. I am begging you, Cleveland, to make the right decision. Please. Because I've been watching this team since I was 6 years old. I still remember being with my dad in the living room every Sunday watching the Browns. There was only one season where they went when they had a positive record. That was 2007 when they went 10-6. And they could have went to the playoffs that year if it wasn't for the Titans. The Titans beat the Colts. If the Colts would have won that game, then the Browns would have went to the playoffs that year. So please, Cleveland, get Myles Garrett. He'll be under Greg Williams. Develop Cody Kessler. We can't risk a quarterback. We can't. And if you guys get a quarterback, watch what I'm going to do at the draft. I'm going to go fucking off. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm getting tired of y'all losing every year. It's just getting ridiculous. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. Like the video, if you like to subscribe. And yeah, guys, peace.